This is Captain. Today I'm going to tell you about the movie He's Here Again. Fabian Sawatski is making a documentary about the lives of children from a poor neighborhood. The only way to save such children is football. 3 boys are distracted from filming and run for a ball in the bushes. Here they find Adolf Hitler in a torn military uniform. Hitler does not understand how he found himself in this place because a second ago he was in his bunker. He is trying to find out from the children where his supporters went, but they think that this is just a local madman. Fabian calls the boys back to finish their movie, and Hitler leaves. The Fuhrer is disoriented. He, as if drunk, wanders the streets and, without thinking, looks around at Germany, which has changed unrecognizably. Passers-by accept him as a street artist disguised as Hitler. The Fuhrer asks for help from his young mother, but she cuts him in the face with a gas cylinder and leaves. A year. Adolf, who has completely lost his orientation, bumps into a newspaper kiosk. He grabs a newspaper to see what year it is now, and then he falls into a daze. The Fuhrer is picked up by the owner of the kiosk and dragged inside. Fabian returns to work in the editorial office of a private television channel, where he is waiting for disturbing news. But for now, he is satisfied and flirts with Kreumeyer, a girl sitting in the reception. At this time, the head of the television channel announces the rescheduling of the former head of the department, Christoph Sensenbrink. He is dismissed from his post, and Katja Bellini, ambitious and unprincipled, takes his place. After the meeting, Christoph was not in the mood, and so he gladly did what he had been going to do for a long time. He fired Fabian. Even Fabian's developments on his new film did not help. He was simply thrown out of the television channel office. The owner of the newspaper kiosk helps the Fuhrer to come to his senses, feeds him, and lets him read the newspapers. From the newspapers, Hitler learns that Germany is now far from in the best position. Weak politicians rule the country. The people are outraged by the migrants from Syria and Turkey. Unemployment and poverty are flourishing. He understands that such a strong ruler, like himself, can raise the country from its knees. The only one who deserves respect in the eyes of Adolf is the Green Party. They fight for ecology by the methods that suit the Fuhrer. Fabian lost his job. He is desperate. He sits at his mother's house and re-watches the material shot for the film. His mother sees a man in the background who looks like Hitler. However, Fabian does not remember what was really there. He rushes to look for the unknown. Meanwhile, the owner of the kiosk advises Hitler to wash his clothes, from which the whole kiosk stank. The Fuhrer goes to the dry cleaner, takes off his jacket and other clothes, and in return puts on modern clothes. When he returns to the kiosk, Fabian is already waiting for him. He sees in the actor, who looks so much like the real Hitler, the opportunity to shoot a new brilliant film. He offers the Fuhrer to take a ride with him around the country, where Adolf will talk to ordinary people, and Fabian will shoot it all and edit the film. Hitler agrees. For him, this is an opportunity to learn more about the problems of ordinary people and understand how to turn them into their own benefit. To shoot a new film, Fabian borrowed money from his mother and took her car. He rides it with Hitler and goes on a journey through Germany. Fabian is amazed at how much this actor has invested in the role. He sees an advantage in this for himself and his film. And Hitler is more and more puzzled about where his country is going. There are constant television shows for idiots on television. There are a lot of migrants on the streets, and anyone he talks to complains about the poor quality of life in Germany. While Fabian was interviewing the owner of the dogs and asked to rent one dog, Adolf was playing with the dog. However, the dog did not like him, for which he bit the Fuhrer. Hitler grabbed a gun and shot the dog. It got on camera. Fabian and Hitler had to leave in a hurry. On the way, Fabian runs out of money. He calls his boss to ask for a personality for a new plot. But he pretends that the connection is lost. Then they and Hitler decide to earn money on their own. Fabian recalls that before becoming a dictator, Adolf loved to draw. They stop at a small town square and offer passers-by to draw their portrait for money. Many agree, but Hitler does not draw very well. Despite this, for his eccentric appearance, most of the passers-by are ready to pay. So Fabian and the Fuhrer managed to earn money for the continuation of filming. While Fabian Sawatski and Adolf Hitler traveled around the country, almost everyone took pictures with the Fuhrer with pleasure, told him about their problems. Only one person expressed a different opinion from the majority. He believes that an actor dressed as Hitler in the central square of modern Germany is an insult to all Germans. However, the wave was launched, and the videos with the Fuhrer's participation gained millions of views on the internet. With this, Sawatski came to his boss, Christoph. He was not eager to represent Hitler to the authorities, but the Führer himself went to the meeting. Here, he impressed Katja Bellini, and she decides to put him in the most rating evening show. Christoph sees this as an opportunity to dismiss Katja from the director's post. He entrusts the humorist to write insults to Jews and other layers of the population of the joke, which he will have to say on the air of Hitler. But when the Führer comes to the television and is given the floor, he refuses to read the text from the sheet. He waits in silence for a long time and then speaks about the problems of Germany and the inability of the weak government to solve these problems. He inspires people, and Katja Bellini is the winner. Despite the protests of the host show, Hitler is put on the air more and more often. He appears in various television shows where he is accepted as a slightly crazy actor. However, the public loves the Führer because he talks to them about what the rest are silent about. Fabian and Sawatski, thanks to the fact that he found Hitler, return to work. But for now, they take him only as a coffee carrier, promising that as soon as a suitable position appears, he will be promoted. Fabian begins to meet with Kreumeier, and the girl even invites him to visit her. She introduces Sawatski to her Satanist friends and a mentally ill grandmother. Hitler, meanwhile, gets acquainted with the internet. Here he sees how his bloggers praise him, what commendable comments they write to him. The Führer goes out again to find supporters. He talks to the radically minded youth, appears in clubs where National Democrats gather, demolishes the head of the Department of the National Democratic Party because of his weakness. Christoph does not leave attempts to remove Katja Bellini from office. He files an anonymous complaint to the prosecutor's office, and the prosecutor appears in Bellini's office. However, here he just praises her show, says how he liked it, the Führer, and leaves. After that, Kreumeier informs Christoph that the television channel must pay the bill for the killed dog, so he learns that the Führer shot the dog, and there is a record where he does it. Christoph decides to use this opportunity to remove both Hitler and Bellini. The Führer is invited to another show where the host launches the same video with the killed dog. The audience is outraged. It is not ready to forgive even such a charismatic actor for the murder of an innocent animal. Christoph has achieved his goal. He is promoted and Katja is fired. Hitler has to stay at Fabian's apartment. Here, the Führer writes his book, and Fabian plans to make a film about it. With the idea of making a film, he comes to Katja Bellini, and she agrees to work with the Führer. Adolf's book about his adventures in modern Germany is in demand. Hitler becomes popular again. He even recruits a team of bodyguards. Meanwhile, the television channel led by Christoph loses ratings. Without Hitler, no one wants to watch a show on this channel. Christoph does not know how to get out of the situation, and therefore he goes to Sawatski. Fabian is already filming a film about Hitler. He himself is played by an actor in a silicone mask. There is also an actor playing Christoph. Christoph offers Fabian cooperation. He wants to promote Sawatski's film. However, filming is in a dead end. Fabian needs to shoot a scene, how Hitler appeared in the modern world, but the Führer himself does not remember this. Then Sawatski picks up the old recordings and sees how the yard is filled with fog. Fabian realizes that all this time, he was driving around Germany, a real Hitler who moved here from his bunker. Sawatski runs to the hospital, where the Führer was placed after being beaten by the neo-Nazis, but he was already discharged. He informs Katja Bellini that Adolf is real, but she hands him over to the bodyguards and puts him in a mental hospital. She does not want the truth to surface. However, the ending of the film about Hitler turned out to be different. In it, Sawatski led the Führer to clean water, brought him to the roof and shot him. But Hitler appeared here again. He convinced the cinema Sawatski that all those atrocities that took place during his reign happened because Adolf, the tyrant, lives in each of them, and Fabian will never get rid of his inner Hitler, even despite the fact that he shot the real one. The film got its share of fame. It is praised. Hitler was loved again, and Katja Bellini has returned to her previous position. She and the Führer drive around modern Germany by car, and Fabian Sawatski will spend the rest of the days in a mental hospital. That's all for today. Subscribe and like if you want more videos like this.